The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another edition of our Launchpad webinar series, where we bring you and showcase all the latest stuff as far as internet marketing is concerned. Today is Tuesday, the 25th of February, and we don't know where 2014 is going, at least for me. Time's just flying. It's already the end of February. Incredible. I also have Armando Alas with us. Here, Armando.
Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here this morning. Beautiful morning here in Toronto.
Yeah, it is.
It's sunny today. Cold but sunny.
Yeah, it was freezing yesterday. It was like I think Toronto was under a cold weather alert, but we're all used to it by now. That's what the story of this winter has been. It's been a bitterly cold winter. Okay, moving along. The usual format for our regular ICs that attend our webinar, our Launchpad webinars regularly. We'll start off with the latest news and articles. Got a couple of really cool stories this week, and then Armando's got a really nice case study for a client that was getting a decent amount of traffic and what we did for them in order to get their traffic up. As always, please feel free to utilize this case study when pitching to your prospects, and also reach out to us if you actually need some more information about the case studies that we're showcasing in our Launchpad webinars. In the tool of the week, I'm doing something different this week. I'm actually going to be reviewing the top SEO books that I feel we should all be reading as internet consultants when we are basically pitching our services out there. And because SEO is such a core part of our internet marketing, digital marketing business, these books are essential, a part of essential reading. They're fantastic books, so we've compiled these books. Some are based on personal experience, and some are based on recommendations that we've received from others that have actually read the books. But some of them are based on personal recommendations, books that we've read and have derived a lot of value out of these books. And then, of course, we'd be handling our regular Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. Excellent. So let's get started here. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about was a very interesting quality guidelines update that Google Places has brought about. So just a couple of days back, I'm not sure if you were getting Google alerts, then you would have noticed this, but Google updated their quality guidelines for for Places accounts. And most of this stuff is pretty standard, but they're now cracking down on things like the business name. So they're very specific on the fact that your title should only reflect your business's real-world title. And people were spamming it. Where they were basically putting in things like #1 Seattle Plumbing, Joe's Pizza Best Delivery. That's not going to be acceptable, and Google's going to crack down on it. So whatever your business's real title is, that's essentially what you should be optimizing for, because again, the SEO industry is trying to see how they could optimize the title and get sort of like a better positioning in Places. But they've made this update, and they're cracking down on accounts. So they basically have updated their policy saying that your title should reflect your business's real-world title. You can also include a single descriptor that helps customers locate your business or understand what your business offers. So that continues, the single descriptor. Marketing taglines, phone numbers, store codes, URLs are not valid descriptors. So they've also gone ahead to define what are valid and what are invalid descriptors, because again, based on the experience in terms of what they're seeing take place out there, and some of the spammy tactics that they're observing with some of the Places accounts, they've specified this very categorically that you cannot use marketing taglines as a descriptor. So they also give you examples. Acceptable titles with descriptors are Starbucks downtown, that's acceptable. Joe's Pizza Restaurant, that's acceptable. And then I went through the ones that are not acceptable. They also go on to clarify a few different things like, business location, what do you need to do, and then if, let's say, you have a home-operated business, which a lot of the franchisees, the ICs do, what should you be doing in that instance? And in that case, this point would be quite interesting for you. If you don't conduct face-to-face businesses at your location, you must select yes. This business serves customers at their location under the service areas and location settings section of your dashboard, and then select do not show my business address on my maps listing option. because technically if you don't conduct face-to-face businesses in your location and you normally go out meet the prospects in their locations, then you don't technically have an address, right? And that's the correct way, the proper way to set up your business in case you have this sort of a business model. So that was kind of interesting. They also talk about the website phone numbers. Again, they're very categorically stating that utilize a local phone number instead of a call center number wherever possible. So a lot of the times we are using call tracking. So we're putting up 1-800 numbers over there. It's better to take actual local numbers when you're doing call tracking, and then have them route to that to whatever call tracking service that's being utilized. But it's always advisable to utilize a local number as opposed to 1-800 number. It just gets you better preference as far as the local index is concerned. Do not provide phone numbers or URLs that redirect or refer users to landing page or landing pages or phone numbers other than those of actual businesses. Again, sometimes companies do this for tracking purposes. They're mentioning that that's not a recommended practice. They also suggest that you select one category from the list of available categories. I mean, this is all standard stuff. It's always been there, so not much of a change there. But the major change that had come about was in the original business listing, the original business name category. And that's where the change had taken place. So this is a quality guideline update that just came in recently from Google a couple of days back. Great, moving on. So a couple of weeks back we'd heard from Google in terms of their official stance as far as poor grammar and typos are concerned with regards to being indexed in Google's search rankings. So they very categorically stated, Matt Cutts had stated that, look, if you have a few grammatical issues or typos, it's not really going to impact your rankings negatively. So don't worry about that too much. I mean, obviously it's not a good user experience when they're looking at your site and you have grammar and typos in your text on your website, but it's not going to impact your rankings. Matt Cutts had made a very categorical statement. So Bing, a representative from Bing, his name's Duane, he came out in his blog and he talked about the fact that if you do have poor grammar and typos, then Bing might penalize you. So as compared to Google stance where they don't really care, a few grammatical errors, typos are fine, acceptable. It doesn't really impact your overall indexing. Duane's mentioned the fact that Bing does take a look at that quite seriously, and if you do have poor grammar, if you have typos, then it's essentially creating a bad user experience. He also adds the fact that over time we begin to see patterns. If those patterns show poor grammar page after page, day after day, then it might have a stronger negative impact in your rankings. Because again, Bing wants to deliver good quality results to the clients. What we're also going to do in one of the webinar sessions going forward is that right now we're running multiple campaigns. For one of our clients, we're doing a campaign on Google, Bing, and Yahoo as well, and we're through Bing, and then we're testing out, seeing what's really giving us good conversions. To our surprise, and this is for paid advertising, to our surprise, what we're seeing is that Bing's conversion rates are through the roof, and we're talking about an e-commerce client that we have, that we're basically doing paid advertising with. Their results are through the roof. The only challenge is that the quantity is a lot more in Google as opposed to Bing, but the quality is definitely there. The cost per lead is better. The cost per conversion is better for Bing. The click-through rates are a lot better in Bing. So the quality of searchers in Bing is really good, and it's there. It's just that it's not in the same volume as that of Google, but all the ratios are a lot better than Google. So something to look into, and we'll prepare a whole case study out of this once we get some more definitive data, and then present that in one of our future Launchpad webinars. But I thought I'd share that with you because it's kind of very interesting to see Bing outperforming Google hands down. The results are not even close when it comes to ratios. Google's only winning because of absolutes, but in terms of relative numbers, Bing's 10 times better than Google. Okay, so moving on. So there's been a lot of discussion as far as Google Plus and the usage of Google Plus is concerned. And we suspected this all along, and it's now being confirmed by a lot of other people as well. that companies are utilizing Google Plus as a strategy, not so much so as just to engage the Google Plus users and get more, plus ones and engage the audience and utilize all the fantastic tools and features that Google Plus has, like Hangouts, etc., and use it like a social media tool. Companies are utilizing Google Plus so as to really impact their search, and that's really what they're using Google Plus for, because it's been debated and it's been proven with a lot of different case studies that utilizing your Google Plus profile effectively does impact your organic performance in Google. So a lot of the companies, they're not really targeting users in Google Plus. They're not really looking at Google Plus as a social media strategy, but they're primarily doing it for SEO purposes. And this was confirmed by two leading companies. So Alex Wheeler from Starbucks and Chandra McGee from The Economist recently had interviews, and they were talking to the reporters at Search Engine Land and their experiences with Google Plus. And Alex Wheeler very categorically stated that, Starbucks has only 3 million Google Plus followers compared to its Facebook pages with 36 million likes. But Starbucks basically says that we update our Google Plus page for the sake of good search placement and takes advice from the Google reps on how to optimize Google Plus content for the search engines. So they very categorically stated, look, Google Plus is not really a social media strategy for us. It's more so for search. And then the Economist senior director had sort of like a similar content where she talked about the fact that, there is potential on Google Plus to help us get in front of new audiences, but it also helps with SEO strategy because our posts on Google Plus are actually showing up in our search engine results. So again, if you're looking at Google Plus as a strategy for a client, it would be more advisable to think of a strategy more along the lines of doing it for organic optimization, doing it for a better search presence, as opposed to having a social strategy around Google Plus, because it doesn't seem like, and this article goes on to talk about how the Facebook users are a lot more engaged when you're trying to engage them in different conversations or contests, etc., as opposed to Google Plus, where the engagement rates are a lot lower. So just things to keep in mind when you're looking at a social media strategy. Great, moving on. So this one's a little complicated, and I'll try and explain this. So there's two aspects when it comes to showcasing your products in Google. There's Google Shopping, which is complimentary, which is free, that's offered by Google. So you can basically go into a Google Merchant Center, you can create a Merchant Center, and you can launch a Google Shopping campaign where you can have your prospects, your clients' products set up in Google Shopping, and Google Shopping, which is a shopping search engine, is going to basically index that, and depending on how well optimized your feed is, your products are going to start showing up in Google. Then they also have something called PLAs. That's called product listing ads, and that's the PPC equivalent of Google Shopping. So product listings ads are these ads, like, let's say if I actually go in and type in, so just go to google.com, and then I type in shock. Okay, so I'm not getting any product ads right now. Let me just do another search. Yeah, unfortunately no product ads. But product ads, basically, when you do a search, there's like a whole box of ads that are going to start appearing on your right-hand side, and there's going to be different images that are associated with the product ads. Perhaps I can perhaps pull an example here on Google Images. There you go. So, yep. All right. So if you're looking at my screen right now, in this example, someone just typed in cake tray, and then you're getting these visual search results right here, and then you see prices and you see the restaurants. So these are all product ads, right? And this is all paid advertising for product ads. You can pay to get your ads listed like this in utilizing your Google PPC campaign. Okay, so what Google's now done is that they have migrated over shopping with your product listing ads in Google PPC. So they've just made both these two different systems that they had, one for Google Shopping and one for product listing ads, talk to each other now, and you can basically recreate your Google Shopping campaign that you've set up into a PPC campaign and start running product listing ads. So as you can see, here's a screenshot on the right hand side where in your AdWords account you'll have campaigns, and then in campaigns there's a drop down for shopping, and if you click on that, there's a way to integrate your shopping account that you have with your product listing ads, and now you can start running product listing ads for your shopping feed that you'd created for Google Shopping. So Google began beta testing this about 3 months back or so, and then after 3 months it's been so successful that they're rolling this out all across globally because it's been really successful, and they're just simplifying users that have Google Shopping accounts so as to migrate that feed and start creating product listing ads. We are testing this out for 2 of our clients right now, running product listing ads for the e-commerce products that they have on their website. It's a nutrition company, and again, we'll keep you updated on the feedback that we're getting and how well these product listing ads are working out. So the other news has to do with Google penalizing a social video advertising site called YRule, and there's a couple. This penalty was handed out about 3 days back, and it's really interesting because here I'll take you to the website. So here's the website. It's a video seeding website. It says start your campaign for $10 and you can start promoting your video for $10. And for some of you that remember, there was a discussion on Google going after these companies that basically inflate YouTube views. And there's a lot of such companies out there that are kind of shady because they basically use bots. So it's a waste of money. They're just using bots in the background to inflate your YouTube views, and Google had said that they were going to crack down on these companies. But they've gone after this company in particular, YRule, that is this video seeding service. Not so much so for the service that they're providing, which I'm sure would have been a flag, where, you know, they basically help you get more views for your YouTube videos. So that would have been definitely a reason that they came into Google's eyes, but more so for utilizing bad negative link building tactics. So there was an official announcement that went out from Google stating that they were penalizing this company. So if we actually go into Google right now, and if I search for this company by name, so if we go here, Google, go to the web, and if I actually type in the company name, you'll see that they're running their PPC ad right now because they don't want to lose traffic because Google's penalized them. But if you look at their corporate website, it's disappeared. It's no longer there. So it's just, you know, it's been hit. So the corporate website, viral.com, cannot be accessed when you actually type in the name. They're just running their PPC ad because they want to try and again capture all the audience that they're missing out with regards to organic traffic. But they've definitely been penalized, and they are no longer on page 1 of Google. And it was interesting because Search Engine Land reported this, and on the first day when they reported it, we were lucky enough to actually read the whole news article, and they even mentioned the name of the company that was doing their link building, which they'd selected after doing their due diligence according to the owners of YRule, and that basically got them penalized. And then funny enough, when we looked at the article yesterday, the company's name had been retracted. Because I guess they didn't want to get into legal hassles with that company because the company obviously got a lot of bad publicity. So the company's name was National Positions, based out of California. San Francisco, I believe, or Los Angeles is where they had their offices. So National Positions was the company that was listed as the SEO provider for this company, YRule, and they got penalized because of bad link building tactics. And National Positions is you know, a fairly recognized company. They work with a lot of big brands, so I'm sure it's a little bit of a panic situation over there right now. But you know, the lawyers are pretty good. They got their name retracted pretty quickly from that particular article. So thought we'd bring this to your attention. Stick with good link building. Okay. So there was a really interesting whiteboard webinar that Rand Fishkin from Moz had done, and I thought I'd share this with you because it's a really interesting take on some of the stuff that he talks about. So the whiteboard focus was how can we get better ranks without really investing in content creation or marketing? Is there really ways that we can utilize our existing website without really investing in content creation or any sort of marketing activity and still get a chance at ranking high. So what are the things that we can do? So Rand went on to list 6 different tactics that you can potentially look at leveraging without really investing in content creation or marketing, which was really, really cool. So we thought we'd showcase this for you. So let's go to the actual article. So this is the actual link, and the link's in our webinar as well. But you can listen to the video. It's a pretty cool video. That Whiteboard Fridays are really, really good sessions to attend and participate in and just listen into. And this week was done by Rand himself, so it was pretty cool. So I'll take you through the 6 points really quickly. But if you want to get some in-depth information, you can definitely come to this link and then research it for yourself. The first tip that he talks about is you can make your snippets better and your pages serve that intent. So in terms of snippets, he's talking about schema, he's talking about markups, adding author tags, adding video tags, etc., etc. So any sort of like schema or any sort of snippet that you can add to your website, to your pages, it's going to basically help you propel your listing that much better, because that's sending out a message to Google that this content's directly related to this particular theme, this particular topic, so index me better. So that's the first tip that he provides you, and according to him, he's seen a lot of experience in companies doing this effectively and getting their sites to rank higher. The second thing that he talks about is quite interesting, and we've heard this quite often, not so much so applicable for smaller clients, but more applicable for bigger clients, where he talks about improving the crawl friendliness and the pages of value ratio on your website. So in terms of crawl friendliness, just keep checking your webmaster tools, seeing how much time it's taking the crawler to actually index your website. Ensure that all the pages are crawler friendly and they can crawl the pages without any issues. There's not more than 100 links. Google doesn't allow more than 100 outbound links on a page. So even if you have an e-commerce website and you're showcasing 50 products or 60 products in a product page, just make sure you don't go over 100, because then Google starts to disregard some of your links on that page. So don't have more than 100 links on a page. More so true for e-commerce. You would never have 100 links on a regular page, right? And then they talk about something that is the pages of value ratio on your website. This is a really interesting exercise for some of your bigger accounts, where let's say you have a client that has 100, 200, 500 pages on the website. You break the pages down based on your average time on site ratio. So let's say if your average time on site is 4, average pages per visitor is 4, you want to get that number up. Right? So what you'll do is that you'll basically segregate your pages into 2 categories: the ones that are below the average, the ones that are above the average. And then the ones that are below the average, you want to try and see why is it that people are just looking at one page and then bouncing. And the whole idea is to either remove those pages that are not providing value to the visitor or replace them with better content and get your overall averages high. So that's really what the whole pages of value ratio on your website refers to, which is if your pages are not providing good content or good value to a client and they're bouncing and you see a lot of high bounce rates on pages on your website, get rid of them. You'll just basically improve the overall purpose of your website, and also in Google's eyes, because your average time on site, average time on page is going to go up according to analytics, and that's what Google's looking for. The third trick that he talks about is make your pages faster. If you make your pages faster, the internet's going to reward you. And one of the good ways to check your page speed is this particular tool, which is the Google Page Speed Analyzer. So you just go to Google, and this is a tool that's brought to us, directly by Google. And here's the tool, and then you can basically analyze your website online, and then run a report. Like, we were doing this for one of our competitors, and it's really quick. So all you do is just put the website into the Page Speed Insights tool, hit analyze, and it's basically going to give you the site speed and rank the site from 0 to 100, 100 being the best, 0 being the lowest, for mobile and the desktop versions of your website. So Now Foods is our competitor to one of our clients in the nutrition industry, and you'll see that their mobile site's getting a score of 70 out of 100, and their desktop site's getting a score of 65 out of 100. And it also gives you suggestions on what you should be doing in order to fix this. So like, enable compression. If you click on that link, it actually breaks it down in terms of what you can potentially be compressing that's taking time to load up on the page, and give you feedback on improving site speed. Google recommends that you are as close to 85 as possible. So an 85 out of 100 for your mobile and your desktop versions is a good score for you. I've not seen a lot of sites at 85, and even the ones at 85 fluctuate. We've seen this where, one day they're ranking 85, the next day they're about 82, 81. As long as you're like, close to 80, I think you're okay. Even 75 to 80 is a good score. But if you're like 40 or 30, you have a problem. And this is a great tool to measure that. So that's what Rand talks about when he mentions the page speed, increase your page speed. So if you make your pages faster, everyone loves that. It's good user experience. The fourth tactic he talks about is not essentially doing link building, but more sort of like link earning. So you have your clients, you have testimonials that you can get from your clients. So make sure that they link back to you. That's the best way so as to get links when you're getting endorsements through utilizing these tactics, and that also helps increasing your overall organic traffic, because the more qualified links you have, the higher you're going to be placed in the search rankings, and you're going to get better links. Okay. The fifth tactic that he's talking about is identify pages on your site that are making people happy, but that are not essentially earning organic search traffic. So what he essentially means by this is that there's some hidden gems in your website if you have a lot of content. When you look at your website and you break it down and you see that there's some pages on your website that are actually getting good traction, like they get maybe, let's say, 15 or 20 visitors, but these 15 or 20 visitors actually spend 6 minutes on this page, and the bounce rate is like 20% on this page. So only 20% of the people are actually leaving in 30 seconds or less. That's a hidden gem. So now your goal becomes, how can I optimize this page better so as to put it in front of more and more visitors, because the numbers are there in terms of the stickiness of the content. People are liking this content. And more often than not, you'll see that the reason why it's not ranking well is because of lack of effective on-page optimization. And that's essentially what his fifth tactic is, which is go ahead and try and identify these pages on your site that are these hidden gold nuggets that show really good ratios but don't have that much of traffic. And then the goal is to optimize them, get the traffic, because they are good content anyways. And then the last thing is effective link building. He again talks about the fact that he is not sure where the ideas for classic link building is entirely dead, because the SEO industry always keeps talking about this. Link building's dead. Link building's dead. Don't link build anymore. He talks about the fact that don't do low quality guest posting. Don't do like crappy directly link building. However, competitive link building is a very valuable tool, and that's what Rand goes on to talk about. And of course, he does a little soft sell of his Open Site Explorer tool that can basically allow you and help you to explore backlink profiles of your competitors, so you can see what your clients are a part of already and what they're not. And then this is a good way to extract avenues for link building for our clients, which is to look at their competitors. So this is another a tactic that he mentions, utilizing in your marketing strategy so as to get your prospects or your clients' websites to rank high. So this is kind of like, in a nutshell, 6 tactics that he talks about that help you get higher ranks without really investing in content creation or marketing, because we hear so much about content creation, so it was quite refreshing to actually get information on other tactics without content creation that can really make a difference as far as your organic placements are concerned. Again, the full link's over here on this link at the bottom. So the full article's here, the video's here, and it's a pretty cool video. I'm sure you'll have fun watching it. Excellent. Moving on. So there was another interesting blog post that happened that took place on Moz, and it talks about a Google Analytics checklist for new projects, and we all know how important that is. Jeff Kenyon had put this checklist together for new projects, which is really, really cool. It's all the information in one place itself. That's very beneficial. And I'll take you through this article really quickly. Here's what he talks about. So when you set up your Google Analytics for new accounts, make sure that you include excluding your internal IP addresses. So, people in your company should be excluded. They shouldn't be really counted as traffic. So, and then he goes on to show how you create that filter in Analytics, and you put in, the IP address range in your office, so you can set that up. Make sure that your Google Analytics code is on all the pages of the website, and then he refers to this tool from Screaming Frog that can allow you to check this activity and see if the analytics code is missing from any of the pages. This is a really important one. So make sure that the analytics code with a specific UA account number is only listed once. So you can have two different analytics codes simultaneously running, which is fine as long as they have two different UA numbers. That's totally fine and acceptable. You'll be getting data for both the analytics accounts. But if you do have the analytics code, which is the same account number listed twice, it's going to throw your data off like crazy. We had this situation where the client came to us saying, hey, my data seems off. My bounce rate's only 2%. How is that even possible? And we were like, yeah, it's not possible. And we knew right away based on our past experience, when you see such a low bounce rate for a particular website, it's not that the website's fantastic. It's just that the code has been duplicated. That's what the issue is. So when you duplicate your code, you're going to mess up your data big time. Your traffic gets inflated, so you're showing double numbers. As opposed to 20,000, you're showing 50,000 visitors. So, it definitely throws off your data. Link your related accounts, so link your analytics with your AdWords, link your analytics with your Webmaster Tools if you have your AdWords and your Webmaster Tools account set up, so make sure that the analytics is linked with these two Google properties. Ensure that auto tagging is enabled for analytics. If you don't have it, then if you don't have auto tagging enabled, you might have the challenge of your paid search traffic showing up as organic traffic in Google Analytics. So it's very important for you to have auto tagging enabled, so you'll have a segregation as far as traffic numbers are concerned. So it goes on to talk about some more best practices, and then finally talks about your conversion setup. Set up your goals, set up e-commerce tracking, set up event tracking. So, and again, there's more documentation in all these different links where you can see how you can set up goals, how you can set up e-commerce tracking and event tracking. He also talks about creating content groups so that you can understand the behavior patterns in your website a lot better for sites with bigger like taxonomy, like sites that have bigger like a lot more categories than just one or two. It's better to start classifying content in categories in your analytics and seeing how different categories are behaving or working out. And again, there's documentation for that as well. So we thought that was a very, very cool checklist that Jeff Kenyon had put together and posted up on Moz, and we thought we'd share this with you. Very useful information. Excellent. At this stage, I'd like to hand it over to Armando. He's got a really cool case study on one of our retailers that we're working with for children's furniture. So I'll hand it over to Armando.
Thanks, Manish. Today's case study is one, like Manish mentioned, it's an online retailer where we are primarily doing SEO, although now working with them for a few months, we're going to be doing a number of different things in March and moving forward, including a bit of Google AdWords, as well as some content, a little bit more content on their site. And the company is based out of London, Ontario, and they do have different stores, but primarily they're very geo-targeted in London, Ontario, southwestern Ontario. So it's a very specific market that they're targeting. And they had been doing very basic SEO in the past. They had a different website. They came up with a new website, and kind of share a couple things that we've done with them. And one of the key things to talk about this it's a small client, you can say, a small business, is the fact that really educating them, having a bit of patience with them, working with them, and also at the same time being able to deliver small wins to gain their confidence. When we started working with them, they kind of wanted to rebrand a little bit more themselves with a new website, and although we weren't they had a different web designer complete the website. We worked with them to improve several call to actions. Now you have to understand that, and I'm pretty sure many of you have these type of clients where not all the clients are open to your ideas, and they kind of want to do things themselves, and they kind of want to go and make mistakes, and you kind of have to help them out after to get their strategy on point. And this was the case with Children's Furniture Gallery. Even today when you look at their homepage, we're still working with them step by step to make sure that they have a stronger content on their homepage, a stronger call to action. So those were the things that they kind of brought us on board to work with them. And we've given them recommendations. We've implemented some of those, and specifically in the areas of conversion optimization. But still, it's all about educating. And every client, some clients you'll find that you'll walk them through your process very quickly, and they'll adapt to it. They'll be very open. While others, you take baby steps with them. And in this case, for example, with their products catalog, which it is somewhat of an e-commerce. Although they don't get a lot of online sales, they actually wanted to showcase their products online and educate people. Their main strategy for SEO was more of branding themselves in their targeted area, which was London and southwestern Ontario, right? Through a very localized SEO program, and also attract other distributors of the products or commercial clients as well. But their last priority was to sell online, because typically if you want to buy a chair or a specific piece of furniture, you want to go see it, touch it, feel it before you order online. But they wanted to give their clients the opportunity to do so. So those were the three top priorities when we started working with them. How did we work with them? Through their very customized SEO program. Involved consulting them on the conversion optimization, setting up stronger call to actions, specifically on their product catalog, so people will have the opportunity to not only review the product, but rate them, review them. It's I believe they're using a Joomla based e-commerce. I'm not sure if it's a virtual mart. I think it's a virtual mart, and we kind of have worked with their designer to help them improve in specific areas. Okay, we've also worked with them on a marketing calendar to focus on promoting their different furniture collections, as well as different themes that they have, different promotion sales that they have throughout the month. Now we haven't been working with them for probably about no more than 5-6 months, and they're in a very highly competitive industry. Okay, and his goal was to expand his brand online, but also to bring traffic to the store. Okay, and online inquiries, so product questions, so people will actually come online. So those are the areas that we'll be focusing with. And thank you, Anish. If you look at it, one of the things that I wanted to share with them is that organically they have been having challenges generating traffic through Google and Bing. I mean, some of the traditional marketing had generated some traffic, but as soon as we started kind of working with them with a very sound SEO strategy, we started seeing their overall traffic going up, right? Back in when we did this analysis in December to January, so it was last month, we saw an increase of 23%. And that although for some companies, obviously Christmas season is very high, and January really falls, their traffic falls, their sales fall. In this case, the results were a little bit different. We did work with them on a number of winter sale promotions. Okay, and therefore, we kind of push that out in some of the social media work that we're doing with them, and also with their other newsletters, e-marketing programs that they have. We've kind of been consulting them on that, but we were able to increase our Google organic traffic by 42% alone, just in a time frame of 31 days in January. So they were very happy with that, as well as like Vinish has mentioned, Bing is getting a bit of a renewal, I guess. So they're kind of renewing their energies as a search engine, and we've kind of been seeing across the board an increase in the use of Bing and traffic in Bing. So they've also have been experiencing that. Now, obviously the results were great in January, and I believe they continue to be as good in February. But one of the key things here is that when we started working with the client, we kind of came with this proposal, which included not just SEO but also Google AdWords remarketing, as well as a social media package. And the client from the beginning, he kind of wanted us to take them step by step. And obviously now that we are in February, that's when we're starting to expand now in March their services. So if you have a client that as a consultant that you can help them and provide them with different services, you have to also, I'm pretty sure, understand that sometimes you have to take them step by step. So don't pressure them, show them results, show them the quick wins, and it's easier for them to become believers, right? That's what's been happening with Children's Furniture Gallery. If you go through the site, now one of our goals is to really start focusing on improving their homepage content. We've been doing some articles, some press releases since working with them in October, and that's some of the stuff that we've been working with them to make sure that they can continue to increase their SEO performance. Okay, so this is pretty much today's case study. If anyone out there is dealing with furniture stores and would like to kind of get a copy of the study, just let us know, and we'll send you the case study for your use. Okay?
Excellent.
Vinish, not sure if you have your 2 cents. I know that you, although you weren't really hands-on, I kind of came to you a few times for advice on this account. Not sure if you have any 2-3 points on it.
No, I think you pretty much covered it all, Armando. It's like we're very glad to see the organic traffic going up with all the strategies that we have incorporated, and then Bing just continues to surprise. I mean, we're starting to pay a little bit more attention to Bing, especially from a conversion standpoint. Again, as I mentioned to you, the volumes just are not there. You cannot compare Bing to a Google. Google's 67% of all searches in the U.S. Bing is a mere 20%, but what's important is that Bing does give you that extra lift as far as the conversions are concerned, and the traffic's really high quality. So it's very important to own your brand, at least your brand, even if you're not owning some of the keywords, but at least own your branded terms in Bing. That's really, really important. So from a PPC perspective, now start looking at launching campaigns not just on Google but even on Bing, at least for your branded terms. So allocate a little portion of your budget to Bing, so you'll be getting conversions from your branded terms in Bing. Something to pay attention to. Excellent, great. Thanks for that, Armando. And let's move on to our review for the week. As I mentioned to you, this week we're going to do something different. As opposed to reviewing a tool, we were actually going to review some of the top SEO books that we at WSI ALM recommend as must-reads, if you're in this industry. And let's actually discuss these books a little bit. So there's The Art of SEO, which has been written. The first version came out in 2009. It's been written by 4 individuals collaborating together: Eric, Stephen, Rand Fishkin from Moz, and Jessica. Really interesting book. I'll show you a little preview because I have a download of this book on PDF. So I'll show you a little preview of this book right here. As a matter of fact, why don't I do that right now? Let me give you a little quick preview of this book here. Very, very detailed. There's a lot of good actionable information, and of course, I mean, even though the book might not be that applicable in terms of a strategy, because it was written in 2009, and then I believe there was an update that came out in 2011 for this book. But it's a very interesting book. It talks about a lot of the fundamentals that don't essentially change. I mean, the fundamentals remain the same. Got some pretty fantastic testimonials from a lot of the big names out there. And here's some of the topics that the book addresses. Let me enlarge that so everybody can see this properly. Talks about the search engines, talks about search engine basics, talks about determining your SEO objectives and defining your site's audience. First stages of SEO. Goes into keyword research, developing an SEO-friendly website, creating link-worthy content, link marketing, optimizing it for vertical search, tracking results, measuring success, domain changes, post-SEO stuff, troubleshooting, honing in the craft, SEO research, and then building an SEO in-house team, outsourcing it, some sort of like organizational decision-making that you need to do. And then it also talks about the future of SEO. Pretty cool book. Again, it's come with a lot of recommendation, so we definitely recommend this as a must-read. Then there is the SEO Fitness book by Jason McDonald. We've heard a lot of good stuff about this. We haven't read this ourselves. This is on our list. Definitely got to check this out. But it is highly recommended, especially because it's got a lot of worksheets and SEO tools in this book. Okay, one of my favorite books, all-time favorite books on SEO is SEO Secrets, Search Engine Optimization Secrets by Danny Dover. Danny Dover used to work with SEO. He was handling all of their top clients at SEO Moz before he left SEO Moz, and he basically went on to work with another organization. As a matter of fact, I think he's freelancing now. Just a fantastic book. If you have corporate accounts, if you have clients that are like the likes of, some Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 clients, Danny Dover literally gives you everything right there. I mean, he gives you templates of how he does his analysis. Like he talks about this template that he does an SEO analysis that he charges $5,000 for, and he literally gives you the entire template and shows you what he does in order to charge that kind of money for these clients, and he walks you through that entire thing step by step. So the entire copy of that analysis is given by Danny Dover in that book that companies charge so much money for. So a very powerful book, very useful book. I was pretty impressed when we read it here. Patty Mugen, the link building book, is also quite recognized in the industry circles as a pretty good book. Again, this is not recommended through first-hand experience. We have for link building, we go to our favorite blog. It's basically encompassing all the link building practices, and we showcase that, as a matter of fact, in a couple of our Launchpad editions. In terms of that particular blog, and that blog is Point Blank SEO. That's our favorite link building blog of all time. It's the mother of all link building blogs. It's fantastic. There's a lot of good information in it. There's Conversation Marketing, Internet Marketing Strategies. Okay, good book by Vanessa Fox, which is Marketing in the Age of Google. I believe I have that as well. Very, very good book. Definitely recommended. And then besides this, always keep checking out in terms of new books that are coming out. And if it's written by, there's one by Lee Oden. That was a pretty good book that came out recently. And then of course the analytics book, Search Engine Optimization. I'll actually read some of these titles for you over here. So if you're looking at some of these titles, this is a really good book. So Search Engine Optimization in an Hour a Day is a great book. And then Google Analytics by Wiley, the 3rd edition, is really cool. I'd also recommend Avinash Kaushik's analytics books. If you're really heavily into analytics, then I would recommend Avinash Kaushik's books as well. But yeah, if you read these ones, I think you're pretty set when it comes to your reading as far as SEO books are concerned. So that's our recommendation for this week as far as SEO books are concerned. Hope you get to check some of these books out. As I mentioned, you can actually see some of these books here. SEO, an Hour a Day, great. This is the Art of SEO. I would definitely recommend these 2 books and Danny Dover's Search Engine Optimization Secrets. Okay, terrific. Let's take questions. I believe we have some questions. Matt, thanks for that heads up there. Matt is giving me a quick keyword so as to trigger the product listing ads. Appreciate that. Mark Patton has a question. Would you please elaborate on how you implement compression for a website? So Mark, compression has to do with coding. What you have to do is you essentially you have to look at the elements that are causing the site load time to get impacted. And what you have to do is you essentially have to reduce the size of whether it's the images that are causing that or whatever avenues or areas that are actually causing the site load time or impacting it. Site load time to be longer, and then just essentially work on that. So whether it's reducing the size of the image, whether it's reducing JavaScript that's taking time to load up on a page, based on what you're seeing is causing it. On that analysis is what the programmer has to kind of work on and then make better. If you do have specific questions about a particular website, Mark, why don't you just shoot either Armando or me an email, and then we can definitely assist you with that. Brian, thanks guys, great info as usual. Thanks Brian, appreciate it. So he's asking about saving the recordings for these webinars. All the recordings are over here, Brian, so I'm just going to go there right now. So go to youtube.com/WSI ALM. So just go to our channel, and let me pull that up. Just loading up. There you go. So all of our recordings are classified by category. I think the last week's webinar still needs to get uploaded for the 18th, but all the other ones are all classified here weekly. So you can definitely at your leisure check out these videos on our YouTube channel. All right, terrific. I don't think we have any other questions. As mentioned, we'll be organizing a Q&A session, so I'll be sending out an email on Google Groups as well as on K2. So just start organizing your questions. If you have any burning questions about digital marketing or SEO, in probably about a couple of weeks, we will be dedicating a Launchpad webinar just to Q&A. So we'll be addressing your specific questions and addressing them. So look out for that email going out, and then we definitely look forward to your questions. Terrific. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Armando. Thanks, everyone, for joining in, and I hope everybody has a great week. Thank you.